It is not uncommon for a person to entertain the thought that life stretches endlessly before them, a vast expanse where time is but a background hue to the affairs of the day. Yet, if we are to live fully, we must accept a bitter truth, that time, in its inexorable march, does not yield to our desires. Today, this very moment, is all we possess. Tomorrow, as we often dream of it, remains a phantom, neither guaranteed nor promised. It is the hallmark of the wise to grasp the fleeting nature of existence. For what is life but a series of moments strung together by decisions and actions? If we are to live fully, let us live with an acute awareness of today. The idea that we can defer all to tomorrow is the greatest illusion. Tomorrow, in truth, does not belong to us, for no one can command it, nor can we predict its form. Thus, every passing day, every breath we take, is a gift, one that must be appreciated in its immediacy. To live as if today were the last day, therefore, does not mean to surrender to recklessness or indulgence. It means to live with the highest regard for our responsibilities, to treasure the relationships that enrich our lives, and to give our full attention to the tasks that lie at hand. Consider then the simplicity of living without procrastination. Without pushing off the love we owe others or the truth we know we must speak, what would we do differently if we truly understood that the opportunity for such deeds might never come again? This awareness of life's brevity should not lead us to despair, but to action. For it is in the deliberate living of each moment that we find meaning. The pursuit of goodness, virtue, and wisdom must not be reserved for some far-off future, but must be enacted in the here and now. If we delay, if we wait for some more opportune moment, we risk missing the only time that is truly ours, today. Consider the words of those who have gone before us, whose lives, though brief, were marked by purpose and intention. They knew, perhaps better than most, the weight of each passing second, and so should we. Let us live today as if it were our last, not in fear, but in clarity. Let us make amends where necessary, take courage where we are afraid, and pursue with vigor the things that make life truly worth living. In living this way, we do not relinquish our hopes for the future. Rather, we ensure that our future, whatever it may hold, is shaped by the integrity and character we build today. Let us then be mindful stewards of the time entrusted to us, for in the end, it is the use we make of today that will determine the legacy we leave for tomorrow. Living with purpose is perhaps the most vital aspect of a fulfilled life, and it begins with a conscious decision to focus on what truly matters. We often get caught in the trap of living passively, going through the motions of daily existence without reflecting on the underlying significance of our actions. This type of living is not only unfulfilling, but also wasteful, as it neglects the potential each day holds for growth, learning, and genuine engagement with the world. To live with purpose means to make intentional decisions, to prioritize what we value most, and to align our actions with our deepest sense of meaning. It is not enough to simply exist in the world. We must actively contribute to it in ways that bring us and others closer to a greater understanding of truth, love, and wisdom. The essence of living with purpose is understanding that each moment offers an opportunity for progress, and that our time is limited. It is easy to become distracted by the constant demands of daily life, whether they come in the form of professional obligations, social pressures, or personal distractions. But true fulfillment comes when we stop allowing ourselves to be swept along by the current of these external forces and instead take control of our own direction. By consciously choosing how we spend our time, we align ourselves with the broader goals we wish to achieve. These goals might vary from person to person. Some may seek knowledge, others creativity, while some may strive to build relationships or contribute to the welfare of others. Whatever our personal calling may be, living with purpose requires us to set clear intentions and commit ourselves to them without hesitation. One of the greatest obstacles to living with purpose is the tendency to procrastinate. The notion that there will always be a better time to begin, that tomorrow holds greater potential than today, is a deceptive trap. Life does not wait for the perfect conditions to appear, and the longer we delay, the further we distance ourselves from meaningful action. When we wait for the right moment, we risk missing out on the opportunities present in the here and now. Purposeful living demands that we recognize the value of the present moment and the urgency of making decisions that bring us closer to our goals. It challenges us to take action today, regardless of how imperfect the circumstances may seem. Another aspect of living with purpose is the ability to prioritize effectively. In a world full of distractions, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer number of tasks and responsibilities we face. But not all tasks are of equal importance. Purposeful living involves learning to discern what truly matters and focusing our energy on those activities that align with our long-term values and objectives. This may involve making sacrifices, as we cannot dedicate our time to everything without diluting the impact of our efforts. By choosing to direct our time, attention, and energy toward what we consider to be of greatest importance, we become more effective, more fulfilled, and ultimately more content with the life we are creating. Living with purpose also requires a deep sense of self-awareness. We must be willing to examine our own motivations, desires, and beliefs to ensure that we are living in alignment with our true values, not those imposed on us by others or by societal expectations. This form of self-examination is not always easy, as it often involves confronting uncomfortable truths about ourselves. It may require us to change habits, let go of long-held beliefs, or take bold steps in new directions. However, the rewards of living authentically far outweigh the discomfort of facing the truth. When we act in accordance with our deepest values, we experience a sense of peace and fulfillment that cannot be achieved through mere external success or accumulation of material wealth. Living with purpose also means cultivating a deep sense of gratitude and appreciation for the gift of life itself. It is easy to become disillusioned or cynical when faced with challenges, but a purposeful life requires us to look beyond the difficulties and recognize the potential within each experience. Each day offers us something valuable, a lesson, a connection, an insight that can help us grow and evolve. Embracing life with an open heart, regardless of the circumstances, allows us to remain centered in our purpose and inspired to continue on our path. The fallacy of postponement is one of the most insidious traps we fall into when we fail to recognize the impermanence of life. It is tempting to believe that we have endless time ahead of us, that there will always be another opportunity to act, another day to take the steps we know we must. This illusion often leads to a life put off for tomorrow, where important tasks, dreams, and relationships are postponed under the belief that they can be addressed later. However, this mindset is based on the false assumption that time is a renewable resource, that our lives are not finite, and that we can always catch up at some later date. In truth, time is the most precious commodity we have, and once it passes, we cannot retrieve it. This fallacy of postponement affects nearly every area of life. In our professional lives, we may put off pursuing our true ambitions, waiting for the perfect moment to start a new project, change careers, or launch a business. We might convince ourselves that we will take action once we acquire more skills, reach a certain age, or accumulate enough resources. But these external conditions rarely align as we expect them to. The truth is, waiting for the right time often leads to missed opportunities. As time moves forward regardless of our readiness, procrastination, under the guise of preparation or planning, can rob us of the opportunity to act and make progress, leaving us with only the regret of what could have been. The same principle applies to our personal relationships. How many times have we promised ourselves that we would spend more time with loved ones, that we would reach out to an old friend, or that we would express our feelings to someone dear to us? Yet we delay these important actions, telling ourselves that there will be another chance tomorrow. Over time, the distance between us and those we care about grows, and the opportunity to build deeper connections slips further away. In the end, it is not the material achievements or professional milestones that define a life well lived, but the quality of our relationships and the love we give and receive. Waiting for a better time to nurture these connections often means that we never truly invest in them, and before we know it, the relationships may become strained or even lost. The fallacy of postponement also affects our personal growth and well-being. We often tell ourselves that we will start exercising, eating better, or working on our mental health once life becomes less hectic. But the truth is, life rarely becomes less hectic. It is a constant ebb and flow of demands and distractions. Waiting for the right time to take care of ourselves can result in a lifetime of neglect, leading to physical and mental exhaustion, frustration, and unfulfilled potential. The longer we put off self-care or self-improvement, the harder it becomes to take the first step, as we accumulate excuses and rationalizations for why we can't begin now. In contrast, when we recognize the urgency of the present moment, we can begin to make small, consistent changes that lead to lasting transformation. By embracing the present and acting today, we begin to build the foundation for a healthier, more balanced life. A central reason why we fall into the trap of postponement is our tendency to overestimate the certainty of the future. It is easy to think that there will always be time to do what we need to do, to pursue our goals, or to make amends with those we have wronged. However, this mindset is inherently flawed. The future is uncertain, and no one can predict the twists and turns life will take. Circumstances can change in an instant, and our health, relationships, or external environment can shift in ways we cannot foresee. When we live as though the future will be guaranteed, we miss the opportunity to act with the full awareness of our own mortality. Recognizing the uncertainty of life forces us to take immediate action, to prioritize what matters most, and to stop waiting for a tomorrow that may never come. There is also a profound difference between deferring decisions out of wisdom and doing so out of fear or inertia. In many cases, we avoid acting on our goals because we are afraid of failure, discomfort, or the unknown. We believe that waiting until the time is right will eliminate the risks associated with our decisions. But the truth is, waiting for perfection or certainty only delays the inevitable challenge of taking action. Perfection is rarely achieved, and certainty is often an illusion. The most successful people in life are not those who wait for ideal conditions, but those who act despite uncertainty. Embracing failure as a stepping stone to growth. They understand that the only way to learn, grow, and make progress is to take risks and make decisions in the present, regardless of how imperfect the situation may seem. The fallacy of postponement also prevents us from fully engaging with the present moment. When we constantly focus on a future that may or may not come, we miss out on the beauty and richness of the here and now. Life is happening right in front of us, and every moment holds the potential for joy, discovery, and fulfillment. By postponing our happiness, our passions, or our dreams, we limit our ability to enjoy the fullness of life. We are given a limited amount of time, and if we spend it endlessly waiting for an ideal future that may never arrive, we are missing the opportunity to live fully today. The value of reflection and responsibility lies at the heart of meaningful living, as it challenges us to examine our choices, actions, and their impact on both ourselves and others. It is far too easy to go through life on autopilot, reacting to circumstances without pausing to reflect on the reasons behind our behaviors, decisions, and their long-term consequences. Living without reflection often leads to a life of regret, missed opportunities, and unexamined patterns that limit personal growth. Reflection is a tool for self-awareness that allows us to assess whether we are living in alignment with our core values, goals, and the impact we wish to have on the world. By regularly engaging in reflection, we make conscious decisions that shape a life of purpose, integrity, and growth. The first step in cultivating the value of reflection is understanding the importance of self-awareness. To live responsibly, we must first become aware of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. This means paying attention to our habits, the way we respond to challenges, and the patterns that emerge in our daily life. Self-awareness allows us to recognize the motivations behind our actions and understand whether we are acting out of fear, desire, obligation, or a genuine sense of purpose. By regularly reflecting on our inner world, we can identify areas where we may be acting unconsciously, allowing us to make intentional changes that bring us closer to the person we wish to be. Without self-awareness, we risk living in a reactive mode, where external circumstances dictate our responses rather than actively choosing how we want to engage with the world. Reflection also encourages us to evaluate our past decisions and learn from our mistakes. No one is perfect, and we all make choices that we later regret. However, these moments of misstep can serve as valuable learning experiences if we take the time to analyze them thoughtfully. Rather than simply feeling guilty or ashamed about our past, reflection offers us the opportunity to understand why we made the choices we did, how we could have acted differently, and what we can do to avoid repeating similar mistakes in the future. This process of honest self-examination helps us develop greater wisdom and resilience as we begin to view challenges and setbacks not as failures, but as stepping stones to personal growth. When we are willing to reflect on our past decisions with humility and openness, we become more equipped to navigate future situations with greater clarity and responsibility. Taking responsibility for our actions is another key aspect of living a reflective life. Responsibility means recognizing that we are the architects of our own lives and that the outcomes we experience are often the result of the choices we have made. It is tempting to blame external factors, other people, or circumstances for the difficulties we face. While it is true that we do not always have control over every situation, taking responsibility means acknowledging our role in shaping our experiences and outcomes. By accepting responsibility for our actions, we reclaim the power to change and grow. We no longer see ourselves as passive victims of circumstance, but as active participants in our own journey. This mindset empowers us to take ownership of our decisions, learn from our mistakes, and strive to make better choices moving forward. Mistakes make us stronger. Success makes us more passive than ever. This provides strength and resilience, and strive to make better choices moving forward. To personal growth, reflection and responsibility are crucial for building and maintaining healthy relationships. Our interactions with others are shaped by the choices we make and the way we respond to the needs of those around us. Taking responsibility for our words, actions, and behavior in relationships is essential for fostering trust, respect, and mutual understanding. Often we fail to communicate effectively, react impulsively, or neglect the emotional needs of those we care about. Reflection allows us to step back and assess how we can improve our relationships by being more present, empathetic, and accountable. When we reflect on our actions in relationships, we can see where we may have caused harm or where we could have been more supportive, and we can take steps to repair and strengthen those connections. Living responsibly in our relationships means taking ownership of our impact on others and striving to show up with kindness, honesty, and respect. Responsibility extends beyond our personal lives and into the broader world. As individuals, we are part of a larger community, and our actions have an effect on the people, society, and environment around us. Reflection prompts us to consider how our choices contribute to the greater good. Are we living in a way that aligns with our values of compassion, fairness, and justice? Do we consider the long-term impact of our decisions on the world, or do we act out of self-interest, neglecting the well-being of others? Responsibility requires us to think beyond ourselves and recognize that our actions ripple outward, affecting the world in ways we may not always see. When we reflect on the broader consequences of our choices, we are better equipped to act in ways that contribute positively to the world around us. This can involve making ethical decisions, advocating for justice, or simply being mindful of how our actions affect the environment and the people we encounter. One of the most profound ways reflection enhances our lives is by guiding us toward our true purpose. Without reflection, we may go through life driven by external expectations or societal norms, chasing after goals that do not align with our authentic selves. Reflection helps us reconnect with our deeper desires and aspirations, allowing us to realign our actions with our core values. When we live with purpose, we take responsibility for our journey and create a life that is both fulfilling and meaningful. Reflection serves as a compass, guiding us back to our true north whenever we lose sight of our path. It reminds us that we have the power to shape our lives and that we are ultimately responsible for the legacy we create.